Welcome into episode 9. Next up, Wendigo. With first strike, Vanguard, and a plus 20% HP, Warrior's Torch equipped, I ran straight to the arena. When Gui dropped Sleepstrike, I stopped playing Final Fantasy X and started playing a different version of Final Fantasy X. That weapon is a monster, and this fight is where it truly breaks the game. Wendigo is an interesting piece of art in FFX's boss lineup. On paper, it's like a truck. Quarter Guardians are annoying, look scary. In practice, it has huge weaknesses. To tell you the truth, you could almost beat this boss with nothing. Spawning with the base party, zero preparation, and just spam dark attack, and with a couple of ethers, you could definitely beat this boss. Keep it under darkness and you win. If you don't have ethers and you run out of MP, you would need to dodge enough of attacks to win. To be fair, I'd take those odds before trying to beat Shinryu in no spear grid. But back to this challenge, I've got lights out. Sleepstrike changes everything. Not only can I delete the quarters with a single petrify grenade, they never get the chance to pop Wendigo. So, let's go. I open with the Chocobo Feather for speed. Wendigo's got 18,000 HP. I want turns. I don't want this one to turn into a snooze fest where I'm the one falling asleep. Next, petrify grenade. Quartos, gone. I swap weapons. This is the win condition. I go for the double infliction. Dark attack plus Sleep Strike. Darkness doesn't land. And that's fine. It was never the plan. The real status here is sleep. And once it sticks, the fight is basically over. I tested slow. It's immune. That's fine. This fight isn't about weakening Wendigo that much. If I wanted, I could go for the power break, but it's not about weakening Wendigo. This boss battle is about dealing damage without waking it up. Black magic, Lancet, throwables, freestyle it. Wendigo wakes up, no problem, right back to sleep. Sleepstrike has an absurd success rate, and remember, this is a strike, not a touch. I think only once it didn't land immediately, and that one time, I just double inflicted dark plus sleep before it even got a turn. In fact, Wendigo never acted. That's kinda messed up. Few bomb fragments later, the fight's over. On drop side of things, Wendigo can bless you with the one-of-its-kind armor. SOS Haste. That's an auto grind. Sometimes it dropped nothing, sometimes it teased me, but not long after, Haste Charge goes straight into Yuji's arsenal. Immediate save. The next possible SOS Haste isn't until Calmlands, if we ever make it there. Every Natus. What's in my throat? I don't know what got there. Grab counterattack from the chest, pick up a level 2 key spear, and just like that, we're off to get stranded in the sands of Bikanel. The first forced encounter in Bikanel Desert, and it's a bird. How does a bird grow so big? This one's weak to darkness, so I start off with the darkness immediately. I also test sleep just to see it's immune. Good to know. I throw in power break next for safety because if the darkness runs out, I want the normal attacks to be cut down. This battle takes a while, and that is the first real lesson in Bikanel. HP pools jump here. The bird hits the ground, and that's basically a sign that the fight has entered the "this thing is dying" phase. At the end I remembered, oh yeah, slow works too on this bird. A lot of fiends here in Bikanel, especially the bigger ones, just have way more health than we've been dealing with so far. This is also where all but potions start showing up. Never skipping that facial expression.
Let me handle the Machina.
These Machinas are easily the easiest enemies to encounter here in Bikanel. Just steal from them to take them apart. You can also land some nice grenades from them. After this battle, I walked straight into Sandworm, out the gate, which is rare this early in Bikanel. This thing has a ton of HP. I feather up, power break immediately, and go for the steal. That unlocks massive tool, Shadow Gems. Reduces the current HP of all enemies by half. It is capped to a quad 9, and some fiends are immune to it, but it's a better version of Demi, which does a quarter of the current HP instead of the Shadow Gems half. Quad 9s. HP just melts here, and I wasn't lying when I said ton of HP. That's a 45,000 HP pool right there. After a couple of exchanges, I drop into dangerously low health. But I stay committed, keep on stealing those Shadow Gems, although I was giving them back immediately. Near the end, I remember that poison works on this thing too. I landed, and that's when the Sandworm pulls out its favorite trick. Swallow. The single character run nightmare. After being targeted 10 times, Sandworm will use this move and hits me with the "when's the last time you saved?" So yeah, that poison fang was definitely too late. Lesson learned. Next up, character. Ambush dart, he kicks me and runs away before I even get a turn. Nice. Apparently I didn't have my Vanguard on, so that goes on. Not letting that happen again. Shortly after, I ran into the classic trio. Nothing fancy here. Double grenade
Get out of here!
is a clean wipe here. Top tier strategy. And with that, I make my way into the second half of Bikanel. I ran into the same trio again, but this time different strategy. The biggest threat in this lineup is Mushushu, no question. Lights out goes on immediately. Sleep, boy. The Sandwolf misses, but the bird won't. The Sandwolf, being weak to fire, one bomb fragment is definitely going to be enough. I switch targets to the bird. Something new happens here. I'm not able to connect.
Oh,
Yep, for the first time, my normal attack isn't reaching the bird. Waka's base accuracy is starting to not be enough. So I fall back into the items. Another bomb fragment, and the bird is gone. Especially because it inflicted darkness on me. I'm not gonna try another attack. Go for some rare steals on the Drake, only to see it wake up. And it caught me in a bad timing. I'm under darkness, so I guard. Take the 655 damage, even with the guard. I really don't want to see that hit without a guard. That dropped me into Aeons haste, thanks to Wendigo for the armor. And suddenly, the momentum kind of flips. I get way more turns. Stone that boy out and move on. Chest afterward gives me more Albert potions. This next encounter is absolute circus. I miss, bird misses, wolf misses, everybody's missing. Let's just pretend this didn't happen. More chest looting, and this one hits hard. You gotta love that 10,000 gil chest here. Then it's time for Zoo with the ambush. There's a lootable encounter chests here, so I want to engage it. But here's the problem. I started having trouble inflicting darkness on Zoo, and Zoo can easily one-shot Yuji. So yeah, I have to start respecting the bird. To reset the momentum, some Machina show up. That's an easy encounter. Then I do something risky. I let the last Machina drop me into an SOS HP, setting up the next encounter. Risky? Absolutely. But that's how I like to play. High risk, high reward. Jill is stacking up at this point, starting to look like I could buy a Waka's entire business soon. At this point, I made a little checklist for myself. Auto potion armor from Sandworm is something that I need to grind here. I also need to make sure to stack some shadow gems from it as well. Sleeping powders from the wolves, silver hourglasses from the Drake, smoke grenades from the Zoo, and then there's Sandragora. Not only that you can steal musk from it, which the game tells you has some use. No use in this challenge though. With the first strike and Aeons haste, I start running steal and run attempts. Over and over. No musk was found here. Just remedies stacking up nicely though. This is actually one of the easiest ways to stack remedies in the game. Run away and come back and steal. You can do this pretty fast as well. Not long after, I had a nice stack of remedies. Stone the Sandragora and grabbed the chest from it. Mega elixirs times 3. That is a massive loot. More random encounters, and in one of them, I hit a new PR. Highest physical damage UG has done so far. I equipped Fire Strike, and these guys are weak to fire, and y'all already know what that means. Boom! 849 damage. New record. Zoo shows up again, but this version in the random encounters is different from the forced encounter earlier. This one has a new move, only used in random encounters. I power break so I can survive its normal attack, then I take a risk. Clock hand equipped. I go for the double trouble. Slow plus darkness. But what I don't realize is that I'm already under darkness myself. My attack will miss, Zeus won't. Alright bird, enough of that. Next one's personal. I come back, farm some easy Machina to rebuild momentum, and then on the next encounter, I make a classic Final Fantasy X mistake. Aeons haste has a one flaw, and you have to be careful with that armor. While it's active, you cannot replay normal haste. The game thinks you're already hasted, so it misses. But if you heal up and exit SOS, you lose haste completely. Even if you threw a chocobo feather earlier, CTB gets messed up and I get packed up. Coming back, I reach the other Sandragora and stone it clean. Loot the chest, teleport spears times 2. One of the best chests in the game. Next encounter, the sleeping wolves. The real leader of the wolf pack is me. I drop them one by one, and on the next encounter against them, I get a little greedy. I try stealing sleeping powders while all 3 are up. Bad idea. I get smacked. Yeah, you don't want to steal when there's 3 of them. Bikanel definitely has more threat factor compared to even Macalania, for example. Alright, Zoo again, and this time it shows off something new. The charge into Sonic Boom. I'll give it that. It looks cool. But looks don't win fights. Slow lands, darkness lands, chest grab, we take those. Steel comes through with the smoke bombs as well. Now, for personal reasons, we're not going to show how this fight ends. Let's just say that the bird The Bikanel's airspace is officially clear. It was time for the last grind here in Bikanel. The sandworm appears. This time, I want to do it right. The goal is the Shaman Targe, Auto Potion. The plan? Haste, protect, evade, power break, guard to avoid raising its swallow counter, poison ticking in the background, then it starts prepping Earthquake. No idea how much that does. I guard and barely survive. I keep guarding, keep controlling the fight. Eventually, it falls. Now the grind begins. Sometimes nothing drops. Sometimes plus 10 HP armors. Sometimes slow touch. Then finally, Shaman Armor. Auto Potion. This is massive going forward. Automatically using potions when dropping into SOS can save critical turns for us. Huge pickup. With that armor in our backpack, I prepped the lead, did some stealing, and I tried the trick to avoid the last Sand Pagora. Rick pushing Titus through the encounter trigger. For me, doesn't work. Have to fight another flower. Stone touch attempt, doesn't land. Seed burst confuses UG. UG struggles to even hit herself. Stone just refuses to cooperate. And the seed burst eventually puts us down. But I'm gonna come back with SOS haste this time. Still no skip, but looks like it's very resistant against petrification. But third time's the charm. Finally, I was actually ready to throw some petrify grenades if this attack would have not landed. And that's Bikanel, always a blast to go through, even though the enemies hit different out here. But the heat isn't going down. Albert versus Quado, siren screaming, music climbing higher and higher, and yeah, things are about to get loud. This run survived the desert, now it faces home.
Every is truly mighty. Be well prepared.